live on stage. The sound
of Orlando.
So, is they ready?
Yes.
The sound
of Orlando. What's going on, party people? What is going on? You already know what time it is. It is time for the Sound of Orlando show with your boy DJ Rome, live and direct from Old Town Sound, and making a few announcements real quick. First one being tonight, we were supposed to have a very special guest on tonight, representing Los Angeles. You may know him as Snake Puppy. He's part of the legendary group LA Dream Team. Unfortunately, he was not able to make it tonight. So we're sending our thoughts and prayers out to my man. He had been through something traumatic, so he's dealing with it, but we will bring him back on in April. Next announcement, if you will, is want to give a special thanks to everyone that was, contributing to the countdown. We just started a YouTube page, and we're trying to get this channel solidified. So everyone that, got the link and got on that YouTube, man, salute. I salute you, man. Thank you for doing that. It's not about me. It's about the city of Old Town Sound, Orlando. We have a platform to where we can come on here and talk about our city in a real way. No bias, no, you being down with my clique, or I'll bring you on, or you're not being down with my clique. It's about our city as a whole. So kudos to all my people out there that have been supporting the show and continue to support the show. We love you. We're very honored to be able to be the voice for you for this special thing we call hip hop culture, which we love dearly. Now, I also want to say to everyone out there, man, that supports the Soul Show, just know that, you may hear a lot of things, about why should you support this? Why should you support that when you got your own thing? And, I want to give a big shout out to my brother, DJ Shu, because he's been dropping bombs and jewels, for the past few days about the importance of getting past what you got going on and actually, supporting your neighbor and being neighborly and actually going out there and supporting your people, and sometimes that is a thankless job. Sometimes you don't get people say, oh man, thank you for helping me or whatever. But I want to say thank you for helping and spreading that message of inclusion instead of exclusion, because most people, aren't the all out for self. There's a lot of loving people out there. Just some of them don't know how to help. And part of this platform is to inspire people to think different, think out the box, start switching it up on them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we do in hip hop, man. Nothing should remain the same all day long. Things have to grow, and this is the show for that. Now, let's get started with the show. I got a very special guest on tonight. Shout out to my man, Big Earl. Y'all know him as Earl Lugo. Big Earl, shout out to you, bro. I gave my man a buzz, said, told him the situation, and bro, he came through like a champ. So kudos to that whole movement, Low Life, Low Boricuas, all of that, because he came through and he said, yo, I got you. And so we're bringing on a special guest tonight. I played him last week on 98.5 The Wire, the Mix Show. And when I first heard the track, I was just like, man, this dude got some bars, man. He's coming with it, man. So I'm definitely, all about, giving our people shine. And this brother ain't going to disappoint. So let me give it up one time for our very special guest this evening, Mr. Teo, Studio Geek. Let's go.
I'm in here, Ron. What up, baby?
What's good, bro?
What's going down, man?
bro. I always I feel a little bit special every time, we get the chance to have, Latino representation, Los Boricuas, all of that, because it's there's not enough in, like I said, in the hip hop realm. And so when you get that, man, you gotta embrace it. And I think it's a beautiful thing to have you on tonight. And we're gonna be talking about all things hip hop tonight. So, but before we get into your present, bro, let's go. Let's take it way back, man. Tell these people who you are, where you from, and how'd you get into hip hop music.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, my name is Teo Studio Geek. They also know me as the New York King or What's Up Teo with Instagram. And I basically go back, with hip hop since being a child, man. Since I was a little boy, just growing up, just being influenced early on by my brother. And he was a heavy hip hop head as I was a child, and just being submerged in that culture since being a child as well. You mentioned Big Earl, my uncle. He's been tapped in the hip hop game for a long time. Over 20 years. And he's been a best friend of my father's, for a long time, and so I just been really close to hip hop. It's been closer to me than my jugular vein. That's how I be feeling.
Right,
Yeah,
right. So you say you're New Yorican. Where in New York are you from again?
Brooklyn, from Brooklyn. Yeah,
Representing Brooknam.
the home
What
hitters.
what part of Brooklyn are we talking about, my brother?
I'm from downtown Brooklyn, so my family stayed near Fulton, Park Slope, Sunset Park. That's really Red Hook. My grandmother had a store she owned in Red Hook. Gowanus Projects right up the street from me. So yeah, I was a little Brooklyn boy. I was in the concrete jungle. Spent some time in Strong Island. I also spent some time there, right outside of the city. Got into the suburban area a little bit, and
Right.
then my people brought me out here to Orlando. And it's been history ever since.
What do you think about uh, how Brooklyn has changed since you were there, and does it feel the same way as it did now that maybe you're older? How does Brooklyn feel to you now coming up?
Yeah, Brooklyn has always been special to me, but it's constantly evolving. It's a fast changing city, fast paced, and it seems like every time you leave, even for 6 months or a year at a time, and you go back to visit, it's like so many things have changed. Maybe a store has moved, or maybe the neighbors just aren't the same. And it's getting real expensive these days too. My grandmother's been there for over 50 years, so she's rent controlled, but for the people who just trying to move into her area, you spending a lot of money trying to move there. That's where a lot of the stars are going right now. You get yourself a little 1 bedroom apartment, you're looking at a couple $1,000s a month. It's not, as sweet as it's looking out here down south. I tell you that.
Right, right, right. And when we talk about Brooklyn, a lot of times you don't always hear the representation of Los Boricuas. You hear that in reference to maybe the BX. You
Yeah.
hear that in reference to maybe Queens.
Mm.
But you don't hear as much when we're talking about Brooklyn. Shout out to Thurston Howell, and the likes. But talk about what that was like growing up as a Latino in Brooklyn.
I'll be honest with you, like where I was, I seen, there was like just a lot of influence early on for me, in music and Latin culture, like down the one floor from me, my mom's best friend Damaris lived there, and Daniel Hastings, and they responsible for doing the cover art for the Capital Punishment album and stuff like that for
Oh,
Pun.
dope,
um
dope.
so even back then when I was just a child, it was just so close. Even Latin culture and hip hop was just a floor away from me, and I remember
That's
going down
dope.
a floor down from there and spending time uh and maybe Damaris's father was Ralph Mercado. I don't know if you know the OG Ralph Mercado. He passed away, rest in peace.
Rest in
Was
peace.
he was just he was just a pillar in Latin music, not in hip hop, but as far as salsa music and just Latin culture. in general.
Right.
You know, it was a time where if you wanted to rent out the garden, you had to hit a Ralph. You know, he had that stuff booked out all the time. And I had vivid memories, you know, being 3, 4 years old, convincing him that I played a guitar and playing the guitar for him and singing for him and him giving me a round of applause. So, you know, it's just always, I've been lucky enough and blessed enough to, you know, always have Latin culture so close to me and always feeling like it's been important and relevant in
Right.
all forms of art, you know? So for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, you know, um, Lo Boricua has been there from the beginning, from the inception of it.
Yeah.
And, when you're talking about hip hop and all the greats, like you said, Big Pun, Fat Joe, the Beat Nuts,
Yeah.
you talk about, all these contributions. Um, how do you see yourself being that new wave of contributing to this thing of ours, and in the words of my man Billy Dance from MOP,
Mm.
how do you see yourself in this thing of ours?
Yeah. I think one thing that's important to me, like there's certain things that, you know, are like they go without saying and they're like very important for me in my career. One of them is just staying true to myself, you know, staying true to my art and what I feel like works and what's best and being tapped in with my musical spirit and my artistic self, you know. And another part is, you know, not losing sight of my culture, you know,
Right,
keeping that, you know, immersed in my art somehow and getting that involved in there. And you know, also hip hop culture, keeping that alive, keeping lyricism alive, you know. It's just a breath of fresh air from what I hear from a lot of people, you know, like the game is constantly evolving, it's constantly changing. And I'm always dabbling in different sounds and stuff. Like I got a bunch of type of shit I do, you know, but for the most part, we try to keep it, you know, we try to keep it hip hop, you know, we try to keep it Boricua and you know, we just try to keep it official, you know what I'm saying? So
right. How do you feel about the emergence, if you will? Um, we used to call it underground back in the day, but the emergence of reggaeton, and and you hear a lot of straight up
mm,
Boricua hip hop.
mm,
Um, but how do you feel as things continue to progress? And Latin music is one of the biggest, you know, sounds in the world.
yeah,
Their stations carry a lot of weight. The influence is thick. The fans, for the most part, are loyal as hell. They will support it. They will go out to the clubs. They will go out to the concerts. They buy merchandise.
yeah.
How do you see that as a if I could ask you, do you see sort of any pathways where that side of it could be kind of inclusive to the overall hip hop experience? And where do you see you? I mean, I hate to use this word, but crossing over to where all nationalities can feel you and feel the energy and what you're bringing to the table. What are some of the things that you see that set you apart from everyone else to be able to achieve that? Similar to what Big Pun did, he
I'm,
grabbed everybody.
yeah. You know, to be funny, like I'm kind of similar to the OG Big Girl. I'll say that because, you know, I remember his interview he did with you. He said a lot of people, you know, when he started out, they might have mentioned something about him trying to be black or whatever, you know, because
Right, right,
he
right.
was straight hip hop, you know. And for me, like, I feel like coming up, I was definitely, you know, I had a lot of black friends, you know, and I never felt like an outsider or nothing like
All
that.
right. Well, just between me and you, nobody's listening. Don't worry about it.
Nah,
Um,
I'm gonna be a
you
dollar.
are
Yeah, yeah.
you are black, bro. So,
Nah,
we're all good. We're all
uh,
good. We're all black. The
nah,
Puerto
without a doubt.
Ricans,
Without a doubt. We mixed Taino, you know what I'm saying? Black
right? We're black.
and
That's it.
you know, Indian. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's why, you know, so early on, like so many of my friends were, you know, black because I never felt separated from them.
Right,
I
right,
always
right,
felt like one and the same. And
right.
a lot of my homies growing up that spit were black. You know, I was probably one of the only Puerto Ricans, you know, where I was from that was rapping how I was rapping. And
Right.
I think I'm saying that because I've appealed to a lot of um other nationalities besides Puerto Ricans. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
this is probably like the first, you know, to like this last 6 months working with Earl that we really made sure that we were incorporating the culture, you know. But before that, prior to that, I was just being an artist. I was being creative. So I was working with all types of people and in all
Right.
types of genres as well. You know,
Right.
I've never been the type to box myself in. I always try to just work everywhere inside of the art because you never know where that diamond is gonna be laying, where that hit is at. You know, you got to
And
keep digging in different areas.
and music is a unifier. You know, so many relationships have been forged while a song was playing. You know, that moment somebody hears your new stuff, or that moment you hear something from back in the past,
No
and it
doubt.
reminds you of what's real, and you're able to kind of unify with someone in a real way. And you know, your generation has so many talented um, options, if you will. You guys have been students of not only the past, but you guys are kind of making your own new paths that even the OGs have to follow. Talk about if there's any pressure on you as an artist,
Mm,
um, and then what kind of pressure do you feel, if you do, as an MC? Because the
mm,
MC has been redefined in a lot of ways
mm.
in your generation. You know, there's so many kind of genre ways of going at it, but thanks to a lot of the newcomers, the Kendrick Lamars, the J. Cole's, the Griseldas, they're bringing the art of kind of that bars coming back. Talk about your space in that and what you feel you bring to the table.
Yeah. You know, to be honest with you, Rome, I feel like my biggest pressures have always been a little bit outside of the art. You know, like I
Talk
always
about
always try to keep the art fun. You know, for me, like that's my passion. You know, that's something I do besides, you know, thinking about money or anything or career. That's just something I'm truly passionate about and I love. So it's like a therapy for me. But as far as like the pressures and stuff, I think the pressures that I have are good, you know, and positive. And I say that because the pressure I do have is maybe, you know, people that are, you know, counting on me,
right,
people you know, are expecting me to show up and expecting me to perform and do what I got to do. And it's a wide range of people,
right,
family and friends. And that's the kind of pressure that I love. You know, that's the type of
right,
stuff I live for because, you know, this is something that I know that we're going to make happen. And when it does, you know, we can go ahead and reassure everyone with, you know, all that belief that they had, like, yeah, we were going to do it the whole time and we did do it, you know, and then it's going to be like a pressure off my shoulders even more. It's going to feel
right.
real good, you know, so most
Uh,
definitely.
as an MC, as someone that appreciates the art of lyrics and flow, what are some of your regiments that allow you to get in your space? What are some of the things that you do to try to get in the zone, if you will, or is it similar to some people that depending on what's going on around you, that will dictate it? Are you one of those people that can just go whenever it's like there, or are you one of those people that you need everything kind of set, the mood, the environment, the people, the sound, everything set for you to do your thing? What are some of your regiments?
You know, I think for the most part, um you know, I like creating my albums at home. There's something about being home and being in that space when I'm creating the albums. Because maybe when I'm creating certain songs, you know, you need to really dig deep for the inspiration. And when I'm home, I feel that comfortable where I can dig that deep. But then there's, you know, certain times, like I just did a feature the other day. I knocked it out in like an hour, and it's because I was so inspired by hearing the record. And dude that I was doing the song with, shout out G Money, he came correct, and it inspired me. I wanted to give him that fire on it, and I did, and then there's other moments too, like, just being at a radio station or like being at a show or whatever. I live for that kind of shit. Like I love it. I love being up there and the pressure's on and people are watching me and waiting to see and trying to, dissect everything I'm saying. I love it. I live for that. I go hard and I've dedicated my life to that, so
Right.
that.
What was the hardest thing you faced as an artist to do your art? There's a lot of stories about people that, sometimes they had to lose it all
Right.
to be inspired. Maybe they had to come up from, a dysfunctional situation. What are some of what, if anything, has been your hardest moment that inspired you to redirect that energy and turn it into something great? Talk about that.
So you saying like tell you about a moment that has pushed me to
Right.
push my energy into another
Right.
direction?
Talk about it. What was the hardest moment so far in your early career that you turned into something for your art, and that you instead of allowing the world to take you in a different direction? What was the hardest thing you faced, but you made it a part of what you're doing right now?
There's like I'm gonna be honest with you, like I've been at it for a while and I've been through like many moments like that. And I think those defining moments, they constantly come up in your career.
Give us one. Give us one. Just one.
Especially when you're on the cusp of something about to evolve or something like that. But I would say like maybe a good moment that I had was like when I did a record with Fat Joe. I was in the studio with him. We recorded a song called Mi Gente. And
Right.
I was in a lab with him and Joe was telling me, he did that record at the time off strength. I couldn't afford a Joe feature back then, but he did it off strength. And he told me, he's doing me that favor because the guy who I was, working with at the time, did a favor for him when he first signed Pun, trying to break Pun, and they did a record with Joe, R&B singer back then.
Right.
Could be still not a player. I could be wrong. Yeah, right. I don't want to be a player no more.
Yeah. That's Joe, man. You good?
So
you called it.
Yeah, so that record, and he told me like it. So it was beautiful to me because I'm like, you see the connection. You look back, you see I was growing up as a child, going up to Ralphie Mercado's daughter's apartment. They were doing the Capital Punishment album, went double platinum or whatever. And Big Earl, my uncle, being best friends with my pops, and Fast Track a couple years later, before even linking with Earl, linking with Joe, and Joe telling me, yo, I'm returning this favor for you, you know what I'm saying, for Pun through you. And he was telling me, you this far right now, you in the studio with me right now. But he said, if you want to make this what I believe you want to make it, you got a long way to go. You got a lot of work to do. And that was 4 years ago. And Joe was right. I did have a lot of work to do. And, fast forward 4 years later, I link up with the OG Big Earl, and he's also connected with that same circle that I've been around since I was a little kid. And it's just like, God works in a funny way, and he's just kind of connected the dots since the beginning. And it's just been a constant, just a journey of preparation and preparing for that moment, and yeah, so maybe that time with Joe, that would be like a moment where it was like a defining moment where he was telling me, yo, you got a lot of work to do. And I'm like, shit, I'm in the studio recording with Fat Joe. I'm that guy. But nah, bro, you got a lot more work to do. And I got to thank him for that, and I'm sure I'll run into him again. And because that kind of fanned the flame to my spark a little more. It made me want to go harder. It made me want to prove something. And that's why I'm still out here doing what I do.
Sure. And the proverbial chip on the shoulder will get you far in life, because when people think you ain't ready or you don't know enough, That's when you turn them damn burners on and you show them. And I think that's a beautiful way of putting that.
That's a fact.
Um, what are some of the artists that have inspired you as an artist? Meaning, just that gave you kind of inspiration or reason to even want to MC. Give us a couple of artists that um, came through for you in a inspirative way.
Okay. I would say first, I would say Jay-Z, and that's somebody that's always on my mind. As far as the music and the art goes, I say Hove because he's somebody who invested in himself, who invested in his vision and his business and the label, along with the homie Dame, and expanded on it and made something beautiful for himself in the future to where he's at now. Me having Studio Geek, my company, What's Up, um, that's like the epitome of success for me. Like that's where I'm trying to take it. I want to take this shit to the sky with the label.
Right.
As far as signing artists, all of that stuff, just pumping out all different types of creative stuff and being just fully immersed in the music. Another person to me would be Eminem, and I think Eminem because he has seemed to me like somebody who's always been true to his story, and has never altered it, for the sake of adapting to the change of hip hop. Of course, he's evolved in his art, but he's always remained true to who he is. And to me, that's something that's always stood out to me.
And
And
I think that's completely brilliant and amazing in what you just said because when we're talking about Eminem and artists maybe to that close caliber, there's really nobody close to him. But
mm,
he, to your point, he's stuck to his story. He's it's the story and he's sticking to it. Like he's never felt the need to try to pretend to be something he wasn't. How important is that from your point of view, from your POV? How important is it to have that kind of dignity, if you will, or morality for your character and who you are?
mm.
Is it some people view that as kind of a handicap? How do you view it? What say you?
I think there needs to be a balance. Like you need to be coachable, but at the same time, you need to stay true to your art and yourself and your vision. Not everybody was feeling what you were feeling when you were creating, or thinking what you were thinking, or envisioning the final outcome how you saw it. And so sometimes you really have to just show people. Sometimes you sit there, you try to explain the vision to people, and they might go over their head or they want to put their 2 cents in. But it's good to follow through on your vision and try to show them what you were thinking or trying to imagine up, because you just never know. So you don't want to second guess yourself, but you also want to get yourself maybe a select few of good mentors that really believe in you and that love you, and that are willing to give you the proper advice to make sure that you're putting out or presenting yourself in the right way, or how they see you. So
And I love that you said that because that segues me into the next question. What's your take on why it seems a lot like really so difficult for the young generation and the older generation to connect? And from your point of view, because we always, on the show, we tend to have people that may be older and they have their view and their view is respected. But from your point of view, as being part of that new wave, that new generation, what is your take on how the older generation and the younger generation could get farther as far as their relationships? Like you said, mentoring, being there as a support system, and not so much as maybe a bitterness,
right.
or no, they're not doing it the way I would do it,
Yeah,
and all
yeah.
that stuff, right? Like, get off my lawn, guy, get out of here, man. I don't like that. Like, just this idea of clashing versus learning and teaching from one another. What is your take? What do you think?
um Again, I think it's important for the OGs to really just believe in the youngins and what they trying to do and the art that inspires them. I think it's important for the OGs to have that trust, in what the artist is trying to create, or a manager or whatever. I call them the OGs because all my managers or anyone I've ever worked with that was coaching me in the industry has always been an OG to me. They always been older. I've never had somebody my same age managing me. Um, but I think also for the youngins that's trying to make it, or artists or whatever, wherever you at, as far as age, I think it's important also just to keep an open mind, as far as your art goes, to embrace criticism, and but at the same time embrace it, but don't don't just fall to the feet of it either. Like fight for your art, but don't be stupid either. Be logical in your mind and know like, okay, that makes sense or that doesn't make sense. Um, because there's all types of opinions out there, and some people, you know, truly want the best for you, and they're gonna give you their opinion based on what they feel is best for you. And then you have some people who I don't know might envy you. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
they might give you an opinion based off of I don't know. It comes from a whole different side of the heart, So, or if that even
Right.
comes from the heart at all. So for me, I think it's just surrounding yourself with the correct people, the people who have your best interests at heart, the people that love you, and the people who believe in your art. And if you are OG who's coaching a young and you want a youngin who's coachable, who's moldable, one who listens, and who's willing to take your advice, like I do with the homie Big Earl. Like my uncle tell me, yo, Tay, I think you should do this, this, and this. Most of the time, I'm gonna do it, and I do it right away. And there's even been moments where he's like, I don't know about that song, Tay, and I'm telling him, OG, I don't know. I think that's the one, and he'll tell me maybe I'm old. Send it to 10 people or whatever. Let me know what they say. But we're
Hey,
constantly in the element together.
wait, wait. Just stop. Just stop right there.
Yeah,
Uh, Shout out to Big Earl,
yeah. Big shout out.
the 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 diner quote of the week, which is, I don't know, send it to 10 people. In
Maybe I'm
fact,
old.
that should be a meme on everything out right now. I don't know, send it to 10 people, hit me back. I'm telling you, man, that works because it's out of your hands.
Yeah,
See if everyone else feels the same way. And I think that is completely beautiful. And then you hear that, Orlando? Um, my man just said, you know, we'd be better off as better listeners at times, and trying to, work through things than actually clashing. When people that try to work through things normally are coming from a loving space.
correct.
People that are envious, they have that burn everything down and ask questions later
Mm,
kind of decision making.
yeah,
And and yeah, there is a balance. Sometimes you got to burn the entire bridge down
yeah,
and never look back, but that should be at times the last resort, especially if what you truly seek, to your point, is wisdom and understanding.
yeah.
Because not all truth is beautiful
No,
or pretty or makes you feel comfortable.
yeah,
Truth is actually the art of being uncomfortable. You
yeah.
know,
Really,
Lies tend to make you very comfortable, very relaxed, and feel like everything's gonna, do this. But the truth sometimes, the thing about what you're talking about, which is so like dope, is that you never know. We are not privy to that. We don't know who's ever telling the truth. And I
yeah,
think that sucks, and I think it's dope too,
yeah.
because at any point you could be the messenger,
Mm,
right? Like at any point, your OGs could be the messenger.
mm.
And we're we should be able to allow that to exist because we'd be in better places as far as relationships, as far as hip hop is concerned. Because we would, if the young would get with the old on a major scale, I mean, we'd have this music rap. You
Oh, yeah.
know, no age, no nothing. Everybody just working together as a unit, as a team. But I'm a dreamer. What the hell do I know? Now, let's get back to bars, lyrics, right? What? Why do you feel your lyrics are unmatched? Like, what's that fire you got in you, that that confidence, whatever you may call it? What's that makes you feel like ain't nobody messing with me? Talk about that.
I feel like I talk from a high level. Like when I try to rap, I try to speak on high. Like I'm always like um just trying to think from a higher perspective of myself. Like I imagine myself as the God MC. I imagine myself as one of the best. And that's what makes me the best. I feel like because I'm imagining that as I'm creating. I'm thinking of some of the biggest artists that ever existed sometimes, and I'm trying to create based off what were they thinking. And that's how I do it. Like I'm always thinking bigger than me. Like because that's the only way we're gonna do this shit big, bro. Is if I do it bigger than myself. If it was just all about me, it's not even gonna be that big. You feel me? Like
Right. Talk about it.
if I want
Talk.
this big, like I need a lot of energy behind this, and so and there's a lot of energy behind it, there's a lot of love behind it. But as far as the art goes, like, I'm definitely trying to channel that energy from a higher power, that higher perspective, from a higher level of imagination and inspiration. Like that's so key to me. So I can create the best thing possible. I'm not trying to just create something for right now. Like I got records you could listen to from my first deal when I was, just 21 years old, 20 years old, and them records are timeless. And I still make records like that. Timeless music is important to me. Creating something that's gonna last a long time, something that means something, that come from the spirit, come from the soul. That's big for me.
Man, you hear the chops on this dude, man. You hear what he's talking about, man. Yo, talk that shit, man. Talk that shit. You hear what this man is talking? Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm pretty sure there's some people out here right now that just like, okay, okay. I hear you, family. What you got? What you got? Now, what is your weapon of choice?
Mm,
The 16 bars or the song?
mm. Um, that's another good question. I feel like um it really depends on the emotion you're going for. Like sometimes, you know, it just really depends. If be trying to get the club jumping. If I'm trying to get the club jumping, I gotta go for the song. If I gotta have the hook in there, the hook gotta be jumping for the club.
Right.
Um, but if I'm doing a record where like how I just did Till I'm Gone, and I'm trying to gain your respect, I'm trying for you to see that I am the hardest out.
Right.
I'm gonna spit that shit, and I'm gonna keep going until you want to
Yes.
turn me off. Like,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Now, where can they find your music and on what platforms? Um, Tell everybody in Orlando how they could find you and where they could pick you up.
Yeah. So right now, if you want to, listen to some of my music, I just put out 2 new videos. The Bodega with Thurston Howard the third. Shout out Thurston. And Till I'm Gone, I had a couple representatives of the Low Life family in there with me. And they all poloed up too. It's really dope. If you want to hear those, you go on YouTube, Teo Studio Geek TV. Teo, you see it there, TayO Studio STUDIOGEEK TV. That's me on YouTube. On Instagram, you could tap in with me. You can see all my work. My Instagram is just like a a huge compilation of just pictures and videos showing that my work is just constantly moving. I'm constantly on the go. So if you want to follow me on there, it's What's Up Teo, WASEUPTAYO. I'm also on SoundCloud as Teo Studio Geek. I'm on Apple Music. I'm on Spotify. So any of the major platforms you can find my music on is everywhere. And if you want to go to my website, whatsup.com, that's WASEUP.com. You can stream my music there, and I got a lot of dope merch in there. You know, you jump in there, hit me up directly through Instagram. I got some promo codes. I can hook you up as first time shoppers, whatever it is, man. Just come join the family. So love.
What are some of the artists that are bubbling that you salute while you're doing your thing? What are some of the artists that you feel like, hey, that are on the come up that people need to know about as well? Like that, you know, they may be with you, they may not be with you, but if in your eyes, you know, give me like two artists that you feel like are out here, you know, pedaling that boat with you.
It's a hard question, OG. I'm gonna tell you why. Like, I don't listen to music that much, you know.
Okay.
I only really listen to my own shit just because, like, that's what, you know, if I listen to anything else, I get too inspired sometimes. I'm trying to adapt to whatever sound I feel like.
It's not the first time I heard that, family. That's not the first time I heard that one, buddy. We're good.
But I have a lot of big artists, though, like that inspire me as far as, like, you know, working up to, like, I've been shouting out certain people. Like, I just shouted out Noriega on my last record. I love Nori.
Shout out to Nori.
Yes. I love Nori's sound. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I'm a fan. You know,
that whole Drink Champs movement. Shout out to DJ Effin.
He actually just followed me on the gram. DJ Effin. Much love to him. And just like, you know, definitely the OGs who put on out here in Orlando. Shout out DJ Tony Touch. That's somebody who really looked out. We was just on his Underground album. It was #1 on the Underground charts. And he did that straight off love out of nowhere. So, and, you know, if I could shout out somebody from just doing a thing right now in sports, you know, I would say Edgar Berlanga. You know, that's somebody who is from Brooklyn, just like I'm from Brooklyn, and just came from the bottom and just took the game by storm, knocking everything out. He's going hard, and that's the kind of energy that I'm trying to move with. I'm trying to knock everything out of my way. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to get on, man. Edgar just he about to have a son. I'm about to have a daughter, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to do what I got to do. Big fact.
You heard it straight from the horse's mouth. We're going to get into what I like to call the quick mix. It's a series of questions. Try to keep it down to one word, you know, or if you have to explain, just make it quick. Thus, the quick mix. So let's get right into the quick mix.
That's my man throwing down.
Give it to them.
All right, let's get down to the quick mix. I'm gonna ask you a few questions. Answer them as quickly as possible, and let's get this thing moving. Let's get this mix blended up real nice, real proper like. Now,
all
right. First question. Beef patties or empanadas?
Beef patty.
Woo! Talk about it, my brother. Arroz con gandule or arroz?
Arroz con gandule.
All right, let's go. Chuleta or beef steak?
Chuleta.
No! Let's go. All right. Poquito or café con leche? Which one?
Poquito, bro.
Let's go. All right. Analog or digital?
Analog.
Nice. Okay. MP3s or tapes?
MP3.
I'm going way past your birthday, brother. But
I go MP3.
MP3. Right. Beach Street or Belly?
Belly.
You got to know about Beach Street. So Belly it is. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. let's see here. One last question for the road. What are we gonna do? Crown Heights or Coney Island?
Coney Island.
All right, for all my Brooklyn people out there, let's go,
Yeah.
man. Yes, and that was the quick
That's
mix.
my man throwing down.
Give it to them. Give it to them.
All right, now we're gonna do one of my favorite segments of the show, which is Top 5 Dead or Alive. Let's go to Top 5 now. Come on, let's go. Where are we at here? Top 5 Dead or Alive. Where am I at? I don't know where I'm at. Top 5 Dead or Alive. Let's go. Top 5 MCs, dead or alive.
Okay. I'm going Jay-Z, going Eminem, going Nas,
Oh,
Big Pun,
yes.
and this is a tough one. This last one here. Man, I don't really have a fifth. I don't really know a fifth. Let me think. That's a tough one. I don't know, yo. I'm gonna just have to give it to the homie Teo.
I like that. I like that, bro. He said, I'm just going to have to get at to me, man. Talk to me. All right. Top 5 producers, dead or alive. As an MC, your main assignment is always, where can I find the beat? Top 5 producers, dead or alive. Which one? Let's go.
I would say Zaytoven,
Nice.
Murder Beats,
Nice.
Timbaland,
Let's go.
Kanye West.
Wow.
This is a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Pharrell.
That was Pharrell for real. You heard it from my man Teo in the damn house. Yo, such an honor to have you on the show tonight, man. I know it was short notice, but I mean, you passed with flying colors. The jewels you dropped tonight, I think, were epic for not only my listening pleasure, but for the city of Orlando. One last question before we get out of here. If you had one thing to say to the city of the O, what would that be and why?
I don't know, man. I would probably tell him, yo, man, tap in with the kid, man. Teo, man, I'm really here to take it. Big Earl promo. A lot of people been asleep, man, but the OGs know, the legends know, and we coming strong this year, man. So please stay in tune, stay in touch with us, and you know what I'm saying, we about to make history. 2020.
And you definitely need to get with your man's Earl and go give him that drop so I could put your song back on the radio. I need that official drop from you.
I got you.
So make sure you send that in the email here, man. And we keep that thing flying like it's supposed to be doing. But once again, bro, salute. I love your energy, man. I think you're going to do big things, man. And, I know my Boricuas are proud, and Orlando as a whole should be proud. We got some soldiers out here that are ready to take this thing to another level, man. So salute you, bro, and thank you for coming on the show tonight, man. Awesome job tonight, brother. Give it up one time for Teo Studio Geek. Let's go. Yes, sir. Hey, man, thank you for joining the Soul Show tonight. I know this could have been the show that never happened, and it happened. You see who's in command? God, man. When you deal with people right, things come through, and that is what we do. Shout out once again to everyone that has been subscribing to our YouTube channel. We are almost to our goal. If you know anyone on this feed, shout out to Big Earl. Shout out to everyone. Jesse Jazz on the feed. Everyone, me nice on here was good. Shout out to everyone on here, man, for joining the Soul Show tonight and supporting your boy, supporting the sound of Orlando, and supporting not only the shiny objects, but the living beings. The people are saying, speaking truth to power. People are talking. People feel what's going on right now. And this is a perfect time to let all that shit out, let all that shit go so we can welcome the greatness. Kudos to everyone out here that knows what the fuck I am talking about. This is the Sound of Orlando show. We are not playing this year. It is all about our city, our story, and our motherfucking sound. Yo, I got to give props to our sponsors tonight. Tom Sons. If you need a mask straight from Manhattan, New York, that is fashionable and useful, hit up my man George. Go to TomSons.com and you will not be disappointed. Trust me. And our other sponsor, 5-Star Graphics. You hear the phrase, need milk? Got milk? You got printing? If you need printing, hit up my man Jesse Jazz. He is the man in this city. He's the man of our town. When it comes to printing, hit that man up. Bless him with some business. Support local. Yada, yada, yada. Shout out to Seinfeld. All my people, you know how I feel about you. I love all of you, man. I thank you for coming out tonight and supporting the Soul Show. We are not done. It is Tuesday. We will be back tomorrow. Until then, we all gonna go sit down somewhere. How about that? Let's go.
Live on stage, the sound
Orlando.
So, is they ready? Yes. The sound